Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I am Angie. So for today's video, we're going to be talking about the movie Psycho. Now before I get into this video, I do want to say that there will be spoilers, so if you don't like spoilers, go ahead and click out of this video, watch the movie, and then come back and watch this video. If you don't care about spoilers, then by all means, continue watching. So Psycho is probably one of the most iconic films. You've either heard about it or you've seen it, as it's been referenced in many TV shows and movies, from That 70s Show, National Lampoon's Vacation, The Naked Gun, and many more. Now, off the bat, if you haven't seen this movie and you want to see it, I want you to put yourselves in the shoes of someone in the 60s watching this movie. At the time, Psycho was technically the second horror slasher movie ever made, so the story that was being told in the movie was completely different and new to audiences. Now let's talk about the film. So the film starts off by introducing the main character Marion and her lover Sam. She is played by Janet Leigh, which, fun fact, is actually Jamie Lee Curtis's mom. So the two are discussing how they each want a better life, and then Marion goes to work, and she gets exactly that opportunity. A client comes in with $40,000 in cash, and Marion decides to take that money and ditch town. So she takes the money and zoom, she's out of there. Now for this part of the film, it's about a good 10 minutes of her just driving, and honestly this does seem kind of lengthy, but it was actually kind of needed. This scene helps build the character's motive, and it kind of shows the audience a better understanding on how she's processing everything that's been going on and what's going on back in town, until it starts raining so hard that she can't see anything, which is actually a great shot because it really did give me anxiety, because I'm like, oh my god, she can't see anything, what is she gonna do? So she decides to pull over to the nearest motel, which is the Bates Motel, and that's when shit goes down. So then we're introduced to the new character Norman Bates, which is played by Anthony Perkins, and may I say, bravo, sir. At first glance, he seems like a normal guy. He offers Marion some dinner. So Norman goes, gets dinner, and she overhears a conversation with him and his mother. Norman comes back with dinner, and he insists that they eat in his office, where he has an abundant amount of taxidermied birds, which, shout out to Alfred Hitchcock for introducing the idea of Easter eggs. His movie The Birds did not come out 3 years later, so this was kind of like an Easter egg of what was to come. Now, if you have seen other Hitchcock films like The Birds and Vertigo, you will know that his movies are very heavy in dialogue. Now, in my opinion, in those movies, I feel like the dialogue was a little bit too heavy, to the point where it kind of took away the attention from the audience to what was actually going on in the film. However, in Psycho, I feel like every dialogue that was given in the movie was absolutely necessary, and the dialogue was extremely important to build each character. For instance, the conversation between Norman Bates and Marion in his office, he starts talking about how he has this weird fascination for birds but really doesn't really care about birds. Then he just continues talking about his life and why he ended up in the Bates Motel. From there, you can see that Marion is very questioned by his attitude and his motives, but she's still polite and she engages in the conversation because she feels as if Norman is just this innocent boy, maybe a little weird, but he has a controlling and possessive mother. So then Marion leaves, goes to her room, and you can see that Norman is spying on her. And in that comes the most iconic scene. Marion goes into the restroom, which, fun fact, is the very first shot ever seen in a movie where a toilet is being flushed, and she goes in to take a shower. Then we see a character come in dressed as Norman Bates' mother and kills Marion. Another fun fact, that blood was actually chocolate syrup. So then finally the detective makes his way to the Bates Motel. And that scene where Norman Bates is having the conversation with detective, oh my gosh. I literally got chills when he was talking to the detective, and the way that he was acting, like his mannerisms and how he elongated his neck, it was just creepy. Anthony Perkins did a really good job in creating this character of Norman Bates. Every time he got on screen, I would get chills and I would just get very creeped out, and I would not want to check into that motel ever. The character of Norman Bates, he was actually inspired by a true serial killer. How he was written into this movie kind of paved way into the typical characters that we see in shows and movies now. He is a very polite, put together, and he knew exactly how to talk his way out of a bad situation that nobody ever suspected him as crazy. So then the detective sees that obviously there's something going on, so he goes to kind of question his mother about it, and in that scene Norman Bates' mother kills the detective. So this is the part where I'm talking about that you need to put yourselves in the shoes of someone in the 60s watching this movie. All of the killing scenes that were done in this movie were very cheesy compared to what we are used to now. This wasn't really the type of things that you would see in movies. So Marion's sister goes and investigates the house while Sam is distracting Norman, and we just get this creepy ambiance of the whole set. Every time she turns the corner, we feel like if something's gonna pop out. You see her sister looking through the house while Sam is trying to distract Norman, and you're just on the edge of your seat trying to figure out, oh my god, is he gonna catch her? Is she gonna find the mom? So then Norman knocks out Sam and he's gone off into the house, and she goes hides in the basement. And that's when we see Norman Bates' mother. Bam, it's a decomposed woman. And then walks in Norman Bates dressed as his mother, ready to kill Marion's sister. What? This was something that just completely paved the way for all the thriller movies that we now know. And then we see the next scene that they're in a police station. Then the psychiatrist comes in and he starts talking about what's really going on with Norman Bates. Now this is the part that I really want to talk about because both Alfred Hitchcock and the critics did not like this scene because they felt that it was very unnecessary, but because of the time, the studio heads actually made Alfred Hitchcock put this into the movie because of the strict guidelines and rules that they had at the time. And I kind of agree that why people wouldn't like it, because the therapist or psychologist that came in talking about it, he did not look at all like a doctor. He looked more like a gangster trying to explain what happened. And he begins to explain that Norman Bates had a split personality. We're then inside the room with Norman Bates. That scene alone, the dialogue and the acting of Anthony Perkins was amazing. I got chills. I was like, damn. He starts giving this narration as his mother, and then he just looks up at the screen and smiles. And that's how the movie ends. I felt that it was a perfect choice. He really took into the character and he made himself that character. As you can tell, the movie is in black and white. And at the time, movies were already shown in color. But Alfred Hitchcock decided to make the film in black and white for multiple reasons. There was budget problems, but also he felt that the black and white put into the aesthetics of the creepy vibe that he was going for. And honestly, he could not have been more right. And this was supposed to be a horror slasher film, and it really delivered. The fact that everything was in black and white just really did make the entire movie creepy, and the ambiance just kind of I thought it did a really good job into kind of getting under the skin of audience members, and I feel like if a movie makes you think that, then obviously it's doing its job. Alright guys, so that was basically my 2 cents about the movie Psycho. If you enjoy these types of videos like movie reviews, please make sure to like it, comment below any movies you recommend, and if you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Go ahead and subscribe, and while you're at it, click that bell to get notified when I post a new video. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!